but I hadn't the chance to really get involved in my community. I was involved in many things, including different associations, neighborhood associations, and I always had the belief that Montreal was not well managed. Montreal had not necessarily great politicians, and ultimately my city was an amazing city, and the potential of the city was just not at the political level. Friends and I had also started a couple of think tanks 5 to 6 years ago to give voice to the younger generation, because we were very much aware that young people were not interested about politics. And we wanted to create a new platform to express our ideas, because we were convinced also that the media didn't really present our vision of society, and that there wasn't enough people that were younger age that were expressing their vision of society, and therefore it was just not communicated. We decided to create a team to gather people from different political opinions and really to launch my campaign. It was on June 17 last year, and it was a fiasco. Because the same day I announced my campaign, the mayor, Michael Applebaum, was arrested. So that was just not great timing. But I didn't know. Obviously, the police officers didn't call me before arresting Mr. Applebaum. Before a lot of journalists, and I wasn't prepared to the aggressiveness of their questions. And therefore, within a week, my project was just not going well anymore. My project was not going well. Why? Well, basically, I had been defined in the media as having no team, no content, only going there for ambition, and ultimately being a nobody. And because of that, portraying by the media, well, ultimately, what happened is the people that were supporting me bit by bit were not there anymore at some meetings that I was organizing. It was harder to recruit candidates. It was also harder to gather money, because ultimately, if you want a campaign in a city of nearly 1 million people voting, well, you need to have money. And it was quite difficult. It was also quite difficult because it was my reputation that was at stake. And I didn't react very well at first. I had done anxiety for my entire life since I'm a little girl, and I was putting myself a lot of pressure. My reaction was to do a lot of micromanaging with my team, to be ultimately always too much involved in the operations of the campaign. I was not at my best. I was trying to be the best with people I didn't know, saying, bonjour, moi c'est Melanie Joly, je me présente à la mairie de Montréal. Hi, I'm Melanie Joly, I'm your future mayor. Hi, I'm Melanie. Well, with my family, with my boyfriend, with my friends, I was just really bad. I was taking them for granted. And ultimately, I was just doing more anxiety and more anxiety. I wasn't sleeping at night. It was bit by bit, because I wasn't seen as a credible candidate, the media were just not covering the campaign. It was just, if I was doing things always the same thing, well, the same way, how could it change? I was a young woman of 35 years old. So let's be it. I wasn't going to talk like the normal mayor of 50-year-old, which is usually a man that has experience in politics. People wanted to have change. Well, let's be change. And bit by bit, my campaign changed. Bit by bit, people started to want to be part of the team. We were able to have many candidates. We were able to have 55 candidates we were able to do a campaign that was completely different, have 62 people on social media that were volunteers, that were just always hammering different media people to make sure that I would be invited to debate on television, because I wasn't invited at first. There was ultimately 8 debates in French and English on radio and on television on a variety of subjects, which were transport, environment, urbanism, urban planning, social housing, things that are very, very, very important. My opponents were 3 men that were much more older than me. One of them was at twice my age, which was Marcel Côté, a very well-respected businessman. Denis Coderre, which was a politician that had been doing politics for at least 20 years and was a former Liberal minister under Jean Chrétien, from Jean Chrétien's government in Ottawa. And Richard Bergeron, that had been involved for years in Montreal and had built a party, and it was his 3rd campaign. Because of the way I was able to manage my emotions, I was also able to debate. And ultimately, because the debates went well, and because we had a fantastic team, and because there was a lot of good reaction on the part of Montrealers, because the program and our ideas were very good, well, I was able to finish 2nd to get 26.5% of the vote, so that's 123,500 people voting. My team and I were able to get 8 councillors elected, 4 of them at the city level, 4 of them at the borough level. And now we have a mayor, which is Mr. Coderre, that is implementing a lot of our ideas. So that's great to know. Now, why I'm telling you all that story, it's because it's important for you to understand where I'm coming from. I believe that we have an issue in terms of trust in our leaders, especially our political leaders. And therefore we need to change our leadership. For me, it's very important that you believe, first, that you have an impact on your community, that you're able to take an idea and implement it. And it's not to other people, to the city, the government, how can I say, the markets, that will take care of it. It's up to you. You have that power. And technology, I've heard a bit of your discussion, gives you that power. We had no money. We campaigned on a 250,000 budget. The people that won, the Coderre administration now, had 5 times our budget. So we were able really to use volunteering, people on social media. Now we have the most important presence on the municipal political level in Montreal on social media. And ultimately you have tools to help you participate, and not only participate, but implement your ideas. I know there's stereotypes, I know there's prejudice, and I'm very aware of that. And it's funny because I wasn't educated as a young woman. I was educated as a young person, as a person. I never thought of myself as being a woman until I was on the working. And then when I started working, I saw some behaviors that were based on stereotypes. And then I understood the image that I was, reflecting. You see something that maybe I don't have in my head, and you see yourself in a certain way that I don't see. It's tough when you're in the public eye, because in the public eye, all these stereotypes just grow at the, another level.
So would you say that as a woman, a politician woman, you would have to work harder all the time to be credible than men?
I would say I think I would have to find my own way and take more risks. And I knew that sometimes I had to work more, but rather than being pissed off about working more, I took that as a good challenge. People would judge me based on my results rather than what I say. So that's it. But I like taking risks. I'm not scared of taking risks. I just love it. Anthropologists say that perceptions are based, it's a system. You have a belief, and then afterwards, that belief is, you have a tendency to really confirm that belief by finding proofs in so if you look, for example, the fact that women are just not as valuable as men, well, that's a belief. And then you see, they don't participate in the political life, they are not entrepreneurs, and meanwhile, there's an entire system that is based on that belief that makes sure that that's what's happening. And so that's why we need to change the beliefs and give examples that the new belief of, being involved in politics, being a woman is a valuable thing as a leader, is a valuable status as a leader, or ultimately that we can depart from leadership models and create new ones. Well, that's a belief, a conception that we will just generate proofs, and that, ultimately that's how the world changes.